second gear pull maybe.
Sure.
Hey YouTube, what's up? This is Ben from ShouldIGetIt.com. This is my friend Albert, and we are in his 2003 E46 M3, one of my favorite cars of all time. And I have ridden in this car a lot. It's been through not a ton of mods, but a good amount. It's definitely like pretty much perfect, I think, where it's at right now. You still have a couple things up your sleeve, which
There's
is
always something else.
exactly part of owning an M3. You're never done with the project. But in this video, we're going to be talking about how this car looks, the mods that Albert has done on it, which isn't a whole ton, but they're really good, tasteful mods. How the car drives. We're going to answer the question, is this a good daily car? If you only had one car and it was an E46 M3, is that a good decision? Yay,
Yeah.
Nay?
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
okay, good. Things to look out for when buying an E46, and the best and worst parts of owning an M3. And that includes being part of the community of wonderful M3 and M4 owners.
Oh yeah.
Which is great. So,
One of a kind.
yeah, we're gonna start with how this car looks. The car is 15, almost 16 years old now.
Yeah.
I think it still looks absolutely amazing. This is such a timeless design, especially in this color. So if you guys look at the exterior, it is a BMW individual color, which is called
Silverstone.
And how many are there? Yeah.
There are 3 total in North America from factory, and there are 89 in the world total.
Which is pretty crazy. It's this like mixture of a silver and a blue that kind of changes depending what light conditions are outside. It's a great looking car. And then what wheels are you on?
They're Dynon Champion wheels, 19 inches.
And they look really, really good. Honestly, I was not a huge fan at first. You guys leave a comment down below if you like the wheels or not. I was not the biggest fan of those wheels when I first saw them, and they grow on you. They really do. I think the car looks great now. And you have some plans for that, which we'll reveal in a little bit. So, it looks great. You can take this to a Cars and Coffee with Exotics. You can take it to a WEC with some JDM stanced out G35s, and it fits in everywhere. It's a great looking car. It's very classy and sporty looking and just timeless. And now we're going to talk about the mods that Albert did. And we're going to start with when you got the car versus where it's at now. So,
Yeah,
kind of let us
so when I first got the car, it came with the clear bra. It had a short shifter. It had adjustable rear control arms. It had stainless steel brake lines, and it had the Angel Eye LEDs,
Yep.
of course, as well, I forgot to mention. And yeah, that's about it when I first got the car. And since then, I have put on a different differential ratio.
And what's the ratio now?
It is now a 391 from a 362, so it's a little shorter power band.
Okay, and how are you liking that?
It's great. That was one of my biggest peeves about when I first got the car, because I had the E36 M3 before this, and I loved how torquey that car was, and that's what made it so much fun. And when I got this car, that's part of the fun that was really lacking, especially because this really revs all the way to like past 8,000.
Right.
It's crazy up there, but like unless you're really going for it, it's not super exciting.
Yeah.
And so that's why I did that. And then I also got a carbon fiber rear diffuser, just for the looks.
Yeah, which looks really good.
Thank you. And I also did the BAV Sound audio away from the Harman Kardon series, just because I really enjoy my music, and I thought it was a great value for its money.
Yeah. And how much was that kit?
$550 if you get the sound deadening and the toolkits as well. If you want to do it properly, obviously, if you have the tools yourself, you don't need those.
Right.
And then, did I mention that it has a short shifter? I think.
No, he did not.
Oh,
but it
well,
came with a short shifter, right?
It came with a short shifter when I got it.
Yep.
Then most recently I put the exhaust in the back, and then I put this steering wheel on.
And what exhaust?
It's a Scorza from Status Group.
Are you happy with it? Should you get it?
I think it's pretty great. I got a good deal on it from a friend of mine. It's not what I had it ideally in mind when I was looking for an exhaust. I was saving up for one that I had in mind, but this one just happened to fall in place well, and so I was like, sure, why not?
Yeah. Personally, I think it sounds really good. That was the one thing that I kept telling Albert was missing in this car. I've ridden this car like more times than I can count at this point, and also heard it coming up my street a lot, and I was always like, dude, this car sounds great. From the inside, it's very crispy and intakey, and you know, has the distinct E46 sound, E46 M3 sound, but it was just missing kind of the volume. So now finally with this exhaust, it sounds really good, and it's also quiet for when you're cruising and just in the neighborhood.
Yeah, there's no drone to it.
It's not ricey. which is what I'm trying to say, which is the most important part, because if you put a ricey exhaust on this car or any car, it's really easy to ruin. So now let's talk about the driving characteristics. And you mentioned you had an E46 M3 before this.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to hear your perspective going from the E36 to the E46, how the handling compares.
So the E36, I still hold as the funnest car you can get for the money. It's still a cheap car. It's a lot of fun. You won't really kill yourself unless you're really trying to.
Yeah.
But when you compare it to the two cars, the driving experience isn't too different. This feels a little bit bigger when you're driving around. It definitely has, for Americans, it has about 100 horsepower more.
Yeah.
And it has another gear. But overall, the driving characteristics are pretty similar with the way it handles. It's just that more power, brakes work better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how would you describe it? Is there anything lacking in terms of the driving feel, or is everything kind of spot on?
From the feeling point of view, yes, it's great. Everything is spot on. Like, the chassis is perfect. It's really well balanced. The one part when I'm really pushing the car that I wish it had better were the brakes. Obviously, if you're just daily driving it through the streets, no problem. But
Yeah.
I took it autocrossing once, and that's where the brakes really began to lack.
Got it.
But other than that, yeah, it's been great.
Good. Steering feel? Good?
Great.
Heavy?
It's a little bit long for how much you have to actually put in, this amount of steering input you need to put in for how much you get back. But other than that, it's like not terrible because you can actually really feel where you're going.
Yeah. Can we hear it a little bit? Alright, so it drives great. You mentioned it's really fun up in the canyons, especially on days when there's not traffic, like unfortunately there is right now. But is it a good daily driver? Like right now, if you guys watch my channel, you know I have a 1991 Miata, which I say is the best bang for your buck fun because it's a little cheaper than the E36, but I do love the E36. So I have the Miata, I have a 2015 Mini Cooper S. If I had the choice of trading those two for an E46 M3, should I do it and why? Is this a good daily?
It's a good daily in the fact that you can have fun with your daily and it has more space than either of those two. You can fit 4 people a lot more comfortably than either of those two because the Miata can only fit 2.
Right.
And I sat in the back of your Mini once. I'll be honest, it's a little bit cramped for me.
Yeah.
And I'm not that big of a guy, I'm 5'10".
Yep.
But this thing can definitely fit people who are 6 feet taller in the back. And the greatest thing is I can actually move from, let's say if I were moving, which I am next week, to Santa Monica, I could probably fit most of my stuff in the back of this because the seats fold down.
Yeah.
Just put everything in a box and just, let's get going.
Yeah. And how is your fuel efficiency or fuel inefficiency?
It depends on how I'm driving the car, really. If I'm driving it just normally, trying to not push it, it gets a little bit over 20.
Okay. Yeah, not
And if I am pushing it, who knows?
Yeah, and what's the typical range? Like, how many miles can you go between fill-ups?
Once again, it depends on how hard I'm driving it, that specific tank.
Right.
As we've experienced before, one time on our way to Cars and Coffee, this thing ran out of fuel when it still had 100 miles of range.
Yeah, so the digital indicator was not doing the greatest job.
Nuh-uh.
But it worked out. Okay, so we've talked about that pretty much. Car looks great, car drives great, it's a good daily, it's a good value for the money.
Wait, hang on. I got something I wanted. For the viewers. Oh, what? Come on.
That was worth it. Alright, let's turn the windows back up. So now that we've talked about how great the car is, let's talk about maybe a couple flaws. I want to bring up reliability, which isn't necessarily a flaw, but I want to bring that up. And then things to look out for when you're buying one. Because I know some people might be watching this video kind of on the fence. And I think you should buy the E46, and I'm sure Albert's going to say the same thing. But what are some things to look out for, or to, like, cost to keep in mind? Like, how much do you have to spend on coolant and oil and tires and just random maintenance?
So obviously before we even started this video, I had to go run to the BMW dealer and buy some coolant for the car because the coolant was low. But that was cheap. It was only $8.
Yep.
Overall, I've heard that you should annually be ready to spend about $1,000 a year on the car.
Including tires?
Yeah, I'd say including tires, yeah.
Yeah, you probably don't. You you last a year on a set, right?
Yeah, you can
If you're
probably
not
last a year.
autocrossing.
I mean, it depends on like the year. So some years you spend a little less, some years you
Right.
spend a little more.
Yeah.
Depends on how hard you drive the car, really.
Right.
And then you have to do an oil change. Oil changes are probably one of the most expensive oil changes you could possibly do on a car that you can still do. It's like, even if you do it yourself, it's still going to be $100.
Wow.
Just because the oil's that expensive.
Yeah. And you change every 5,000?
7,500.
Okay, not bad. Not as bad as I expected.
Some people change it sooner than that. It's really because
It's
if
like
they
their
decide to
personal
track
thing.
it or something like
Yeah.
that, then yeah, you should definitely change the oil more often than that. But
Yeah.
I don't.
All right. And then my favorite part, which we were talking about last night, the BMW M Community.
Okay, so the Bmw M Community, it's pretty much a bunch of people who are just like having an orgy over the same car.
And super into their cars. I mean,
Yeah.
like, I own a Miata and we love our cars.
Yeah.
But it is not as intense as the M crowd, I would say.
So they're just so into their own cars. Like, don't get me wrong, it's like every once in a while I love to hang out with them. They're great people. They all have a lot of great insight on what I could do to my car and things to do in the future and how to maintain it
Right.
and stuff like that. But at the same time, they're just so like overwhelmed about just M cars, just BMW, and people that like don't have the right. If you see somebody with like a fake BMW badge, oh, they'll go.
Yeah,
ape
they'll
shit
go
on
off.
that.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing is like whichever BMW you have at the time. Like if you have multiple, you don't count on this. But if you only have one, like if you have an N54, like that's your thing. Like you're better than every other car.
The engine battles. Oh
Yeah,
my god.
the engine battle is such a huge deal, which is like no one. I mean, I always bring up Miatas in videos and I get comments, but like no one in the NA Miata is like, oh, you have a 1.6, I have a 1.8, blah, blah, blah. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, not that Miatas have power to begin with, but yeah, it's always like, oh,
Which is kind of
I have
weird because really, like, they're not like just comparing the BMW engines in a straight line. It's really what they compare them about, but like BMW isn't really a straight line car.
Exactly. It's like a car that you can take on the track, you can take in canyons, you can take in autocross, and the whole point is that it's the ultimate driving machine, the handling, and then people are like, oh, I'm a little bit faster than you in the 0 to 60. But like,
Yeah, but
who
like,
cares? Like,
it's such a small
I'll take
little
an
thing.
E92 M3 over an F80 any day. So this is gonna be a whole nother video. If you guys own an M car and you have thoughts about kind of the M community or you're super into your car, leave a comment down below. If you have questions for Albert, let us know in the comments or hit up Albert at HelloM3 on Instagram. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at acarphotographer. Peace. Sweet.